Hey everyone, Dave here. I just want to share with you one of my favourite new apps. It's called Pixaloop. It's a freemium app, meaning that it does have some in-app purchasing. You do get these splash screens from time to time, but you can just use the cross in the top left-hand corner and exit out of those. So you'll be surprised what you can do with Pixaloop for free. Okay, so just to give you a bit of an idea, this is a still image. If I press play, you can sort of see the impact that this app can have on a still image. So things like clouds moving, then the waterfall moving, and then you've got that mist in the foreground as well. So these are all examples of what Pixaloop does, and it does it really well. So I'm just going to go back and start a new project, and I just want to use this scene from Venice. At the moment it is a still image. Look, I press play and nothing happens. Press. So the idea is what you need to do is you need to animate the sections of the image that you want to move. Okay, so I'm just going to add a path in the direction I want the water to flow in. So I'm just going to make it a little bit curvy, and I'm just going to hit the edge of that gondola and start to go inwards. So by adding more, it creates more detail in the flow of the water. And then when it hits the tip of that gondola, it's obviously going to try and go around it. Okay, so I've got that flow going there. I'll just hit play so you can sort of see what's going to happen there. So at the moment, everything's trying to move on the image. I haven't added any anchor points, so I'll just pause that and I'll show you what anchor points do and then how you use these, because these are the most important aspect of Pixaloop. So you basically just dot these along the areas that you don't want any movement in. So the buildings and this bank are going to be exempt from that flow. So let's move along the gondola as well, and right along there, because that's where I want the water and the flow of that water to stop. And then down the other side. There we are. Press play, and you can see how much a difference that has made. That water actually looks really natural now. So just pause. I will continue to add the anchor points to the other side of the image. So move them along, up the side of the gondola there, then along the bank. And that should do the anchor points. Let's add the path now for the other side of the gondola. Let's add a path along here. And then the water's going to be coming in around that boat. And here we are. Alright, so press play. You can see just here the paddle is still getting caught up in that path. So I'll just press pause and I'll put a few anchor points along that paddle. Press play again now. That looks heaps better. Okay, so that water's looking quite natural in flow. Let's look at what else we can do with this picture. You've got things like speed as well, so you can speed up the water, make it look really fast. That's probably a little bit unnatural, so I might slide that back to where it was. Somewhere around there should be okay. Not quite sure what freeze and unfreeze do, because it doesn't really change the picture. Okay, so you have these loop options as well. So you've got, I think blend is by far the most natural looking. You've got things like boomerang, where it bounces back and forward, and you've got a circular loop. But blend, in my opinion, is probably the best one to choose, and that's the default setting anyway. So let's go back, and now we're going to start looking at the sky, what can be done there. So if you go back and go to sky here, it comes with these great cloud packs. You've got the essential pack, which gives you 7 different types of clouds, and then you've got all the other ones, as you can see here. In most cases, look, the essential one's fantastic. I'll just press play and add these cloud packs in. Now have a look at what's happening in the sky with these. I'll go through and show you all the different packs. So they're all pretty good. You see how much it changes the style of the image. I think I quite like number 6. Let's just have a look at the features of that. When you tap on the cloud, you can see you've got all these other options as far as how you can adjust the cloud. So if you have a look at horizon, for example, sliding that along, you'll notice that between the buildings in particular on this image, if I go up to 100, the clouds are really high up in the sky. Have a look between the buildings now. When I drag that down, you'll see the clouds go lower and lower, and you'll get movement between the two buildings now, where you can see those clouds just appearing there. You've got the ambience, which will find any highlights in the image and really bring them out. So, for example, if I go to the right, it dulls the ambience. If I go the other way past 0, you can see that the lights really stand out and it gives that sort of nighttime glow. I'll just go sort of about here for this image. Details, have a look at the clouds again. They become a lot sharper and brighter. So I'll leave it somewhere like that. When you look at the opacity as well, you slide that along and the clouds disappear and reveal the background that was already in the picture. But if you go back the other way, the clouds sort of take over. The wind's quite interesting as well. So you've got speed, okay, it makes them fast. But also have a look, once you get to here, 0 is neutral, okay, so the clouds aren't moving at all. As soon as you move it to the right, they start to move. And moving it past the marker of 0 into the positives makes the clouds move to the right, and then obviously choose the speed that you want. But if you go past 0 into the negatives, the clouds go the other way to the left, and then the speed that you want going to the left as well. Doesn't look that great in this picture because I've got the water going to the right and the wind going to the left, so it's not quite how things work. So let's move it the other way, and I'm quite happy with that. It might be a good idea to try and get the wind and the water going at a similar speed. Now that you're happy with the water and the sky, just go back and let's look at some of the other features that Pixaloop has. So we've done animate, we've done the sky. Let's have a look at some of the overlays, which is this one here. They've got some great filters in this app. So just to give you an idea about what I'm talking about there, here you can see some bubbles, you sort of see some like snow type falling, gold flakes, you know, even things like rain. And these aren't tacky either. Like sometimes you get these apps and they've just got horrible, real tacky filters on them. But this one has some really nice usable features that will really add some interest to your films. So explore them as you go through, and then you can sort of see what the Pro range offers. You can sort of demo those before you purchase. But yeah, have a look and see if any of those are, you know, of interest to you. But I think in most cases you'll find the free stuff is more than fine. Okay, in the Elements pack you've got some good things, but obviously there's some paid things in the Pro version. You can see things like, you know, movable objects like this butterfly. You can then move it and resize it and put it wherever you need within the image. You've got things like bats, some smoke. They could look quite cool, affecting some things. Coffee, fire, that could be a good one to use. Got, you know, things like this galaxy and shooting star, American flag, all these fireworks and so on. Obviously they're part of the Pro range, so I won't go into those too much, but let's just sort of see this fire one, for example. We might add this one to the scene. So you can resize and move these around the page. So maybe I'll just put that there, and it sort of looks like that room is on fire. Or you can sort of see how that now looks within that scene. Okay, so you can see over here in the play button as well how this scene continues to loop around and around. So that's a cool feature. So it just looks so natural. Now you can look at camera effects and all the other features that you might like to add. So having a look at things like this dynamic. So this is basically giving some motion to the camera. So you can see how the camera pans in and out on these. FX2 is quite a cool feature. It looks like the boat's moving a little bit within that scene. So let's leave it with that and go back. Alright, so I'm quite happy with that image. I think it's looking quite cool. I've got water moving, I've got the clouds in the background, I've got the presidential palace on fire, and so on. So let's look at exporting that now. So go to the top right hand corner where it says export. You've got all your socials that you can export it to. You've got aspect ratios that you can choose from. I would suggest you look at the 16.9, which is widescreen. All our films need to be in widescreen for the film festival. So you can go up to 138 seconds for the duration, and then you can just keep looping it after that if you need more footage. So you got the quality. 1080p is great. You've got the 2K and 4K in the Pro version, but in most cases 1080p is going to be all you need. You can then press export. Okay, so now that your project has been exported, you can then go to your camera roll and play the video. So that's what you get with Pixaloop. Great freemium app. You see all the features that it provides. That transforms your green screen projects from something quite dull into something really, really impressive. Okay, what you can see here is finished product. I took the audio out, it was just a bit too cringeworthy, so sorry about that. But the idea is I filmed myself on a chair using the Filmic Pro app. And then because I was a little bit too big in the scene, by filming it in Filmic Pro, I can then crop myself to make myself a little bit smaller, and it had the right proportion to fit in the boat. Once I've done that, I then put it into Doink and then overlaid it with the Pixaloop background, and then export it to the camera roll. The next video you can see my son, and I just used the Doink app to produce this one. It was pretty much the camera on the top layer and then the Pixaloop background underneath that, and then exported after that. So you can sort of see some really good results coming from this Pixaloop background. It's really sharp, it doesn't look too fake, and I'm really impressed with the quality of the video when you combine Pixaloop and the green screen app. They just work perfectly.